And welcome to the latest edition of the 941 Sports Zone, presented by our good friends at Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. I'm Spitz. It's John, longing for Scottsdale Mosoni. I know normally you're getting on a plane. What do you usually go on, Wednesday, Thursday?
Usually on Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, wow. So you spend the whole week out there.
Yeah, I spend a week, minimally a week, and then because I go to the a practice round. My buddy who I stay with out there gets a greenskeepers passes to the practice round. What that means is you get anywhere you want to go. You go to 18.
I thought meant you had to actually mow.
No, well, I would do it in this case. I would jump on the team if I had to. But it's 18 is a little bit more like bougie as opposed to 16 being more, barroom brawlish. So you
lean down. I want to see the hat because you have
so
a hat for 16.
You got the 16 hat on. Okay.
Yeah.
I got the hoodie from the waste management from last year. So we got the hoodie on today. But no, I go in the practice rounds as a golf sort of aficionado. You get to actually chat with the golfers on practice days, and not necessarily like they're going to come up and have a long conversation, but they don't mind just saying, why were you hitting that, or what about that, or they're hitting shots on each hole, 2 or 3 tee shots to kind of see if the flag is here or if the wind is this way. They got all the particulars, and very cool day to get all the back behind the scene things before it turns into. I would say the practice rounds might have as many people in it as a regular PGA Tour event, and then you get the rest of the week where you've got the crazies out there and the dressing up and drinking and whatnot. So it's a great time. I recommend it to everybody. I'm a guy that once I know I like something and it's really cool, I keep going back. That's how I got hooked into being a Florida Gator football fan, because I went to one, now I've gone to 201 and go as many times as I can. And then you go to the Florida-Georgia game, and you never want to miss that again because it's a great party, great tailgating for all ages. I say that waste management is the cocktail party on a golf course.
Yes.
That's the way I see it. So it's a really great atmosphere. If anybody can go, get a chance to go. It's worth a once in a lifetime. And you find people there, Rich, and day to day, you're sitting on 16 or you're sitting somewhere on the golf course, and it's a bucket list thing for a lot of the guys or the gals or the people who are the patrons, we'll call them. This is a bucket list thing to go to that golf tournament one day. And I'll tell you what, once you go one day, you want to go 100 more days. It's that much fun.
And we'll get much more into golf. Now we had no football game this weekend. Was a little different, but there was plenty of action, and we'll get into all of it. And, of course, the Super Bowl is now just around the corner as we record on Monday afternoon, just 6 days away. Monday night is, of course, now they call it opening night. Used to be media day on Tuesday. They've kind of just changed everything a little bit. The NFL, imagine that, trying to maximize revenue.
No doubt.
The 941 Sports Zone brought to you, as always, by the good folks at Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida, locally owned and nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. Give them a shout, 941-251-4257, 941-251-4257. You give them a call now and you get the work done now. I know it's been very cold down there, but it's still going to be cooler. You're going to hit low 70s this week, but I mean, that's perfect roofing weather. So if you want to get something done and get it quick, give the folks at Mighty Dog a call.
So
John,
Rich,
go ahead.
I got a surprise for you. So I didn't want to so what I did before we got started, I was a minute or two late getting on the studio, is I texted a bunch of people so I get live stuff, their Super Bowl picks.
Okay.
Our buddy Moneyline I'm trying to get some people that I kind of think that are proficient at losing money on football. So I want to know what they want to know.
Well, I know Moneyline's all about the college game. And we talked pro when he was on the last time, and he didn't really offer too much. I wonder what kind of an opinion he has on the game. I'm sure he's watched the playoffs, and if you watch the playoffs, well, then your opinion is going to be Seattle's clearly the better team. But the whole season has to be taken into account. And we'll certainly get into that in just a little while.
And I think it's going to be fun because a lot of people are a little that the number is always great. And I think the number is fantastic right now. And there's the guys who bet are nervous because it's a good number and they don't know where it's going to fall. You know what I mean? So I've already gotten my first guy who came back to me and he said, well, what are you going to do?
That's a great answer. A question with a question. Yeah. Come on now.
Leaning towards the Pats, but may just play the props, which I think is some people will fall into. So we'll see how
there's
goes.
Hundreds of props when it comes to Super Bowl. Everything from how long the national anthem is to coin toss, but I mean real player props as well. So you know, we can delve into that a little bit. But first, we're going to start with another major sporting event in the 813. I know we're the 941 Sports Zone, but 813 is just north of us. And
it's like
Raymond James,
your cousin.
Yes, exactly.
Cousin. Yeah,
exactly. We play those teams a lot too when we get into the playoffs. Yeah, particularly in football, basketball, volleyball, and that kind of thing. Got to give the Lightning and the city of Tampa and the Lightning organization, Jeffrey Vinnick, and send him the healing vibe as well, as he's still in Norway because he had a pretty serious snowmobiling accident. Couldn't get out of the country because his leg's pretty messed up. But I know he was watching on TV and he had to be proud. I mean, that stadium looked fantastic. They hit a home run with everything, including the weather, to the point, John, where it was so cold that they actually had to heat the ice to keep it safe. Is that nuts or what?
Hysterical. You have that, and the outdoor game when everybody in Florida is saying, "Oh, it could be 80 degrees. How's that going to work?" Da, 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 da. That's why they had it at night. You know, the whole to-do, right? And it's the coldest night in 15 years or longer, and it was just built for hockey. I mean, sometimes good people, you know, get good karma. And Mr. Vinnick is a good guy who runs a great organization. He's very, very charitable and everything else. And the NHL comes down, and man, I will say this: it looked great to me. It must look good from Norway too, to see it from that perspective. I'm sure he would rather have been there, but sometimes you get to see what you've created from the way it's where you're trying to portray it to everybody else. You get the opportunity to see that. Man, it must have been really cool for him to see how well that turned out.
Yeah, and the teams were all in. The Bruins got off the bus in all old style Patriots gear. The Lightning got off the bus in old creamsicle Bucks gear, including helmets. Baker Mayfield and Tristan Wirfs were in the Lightning gear. The whole town, the whole city, just 100% buy-in, tied it right in with Gasparilla, gave the country a little education on Gasparilla. Boy, that was a cold event on Saturday, huh?
Yeah, oh God, rough.
40s and rain, man. But the Hardy Souls were out there. And a lot of times you get all this hype, especially with the outdoor games. There's been 44 before this. A lot of people thought that the best one was the first one, which was in Buffalo between the Penguins and the Sabres when Sidney Crosby won the game late for Pittsburgh. It snowed that day. It was a tremendous scene, but it was a great scene last night. Wasn't a seat to be had. This was no Bucks game where the stadium was, 2/3 full. That stadium was packed.
And I will say this: the nighttime of the game didn't show the crowd as well as it could have. If lights go up, you're going to see a packed house. I mean, a packed house. So that might have been the one maybe detractor that you didn't really get during the game itself. You weren't really seeing the totality of how the crowd looked. But unbelievable show up. All those. We don't just have 20-something thousand Lightning fans in Tampa. You can see that now for sure. That's the sellouts don't come from just having the same 20,000 people, as people like to say sometimes. It's a community of Lightning fans, and they are as avid and maybe more so than the Buccaneer fans are.
Yeah, and the Bruins were well represented in the stands as well.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
thought it was, I didn't see anything or hear anything about any, major skirmishes in the stand. I think everybody behaved themselves. As a matter of fact, the major skirmishes were on the ice, and we'll get into that in a
Yeah.
second. Brandon Hagel scores 11 seconds in. I like turned my head. I saw the face off, and I was in the middle of doing something, and all of a sudden I hear the horn, and I'm like, the horn? What's the horn going off for? And the Lightning are celebrating. Hagel scores 11 seconds in. Lightning get the 1-0 lead, and then for the next 30 minutes, they're on their heels, John.
Nothing.
Boston completely outplayed the Lightning. They got a couple of power play goals. They were clearly the better team 5-on-5, and they built a 5-1 lead, which seemed insurmountable, especially since, this organization's been in existence since 1992-93, and they had never come from 4 goals down ever.
Right. And you talk about Boston coming out hot after the first goal. It felt like, watching a lopsided Premier League game where the ball never gets over the half court or half line, and it just stayed in Tampa Bay's end, and they were just peppering. Oh God,
Vasilevsky.
Yeah, they were just peppering him, and 5 go in the net, and you think that's pretty much it. It's just gonna, it's a big night. It's already been a success. Let's wrap it up. And far from that, the next 10 or next 20 minutes were unbelievable.
They were indeed. The Lightning got a pretty muddy goal, something right out in front. There was a huge scrum, and the puck went right under Swayman, their goalie. 5-2. And then what everybody on both teams really said was the turning point of the game. The Lightning rushed the net. Hagel. Right. Yeah, Hagel kind of runs into Swayman a little bit. Swayman jumps on him, like big time. And Vasilevsky saw that, and he starts skating towards center ice. Swayman caught him by his eye. He comes to center ice. His mask is already off. He apparently has Hagel's stick stuck in his uniform. He's trying to get it out as he's skating towards center ice. He tells Vasilevsky to drop his mask, and the two drop their gloves in an absolute Donnybrook.
Yep.
And I think we all learned something last night. Vasilevsky has a hell of a left.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
But, I think when I saw the replay, the Hagel he hit him in the private parts, I believe, with the stick because he was trying to poke the puck out of there. And so I think that's why the stick was stuck coming to start the fight. So nonetheless, I thought it was and listen, they didn't land a lot of punches. You didn't think it was going to go, 10 rounds, so to speak, but it was a legit fight. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot better, but they definitely
got a couple of punches in, I thought.
Yeah. And I think that there was something to it. I think a game that could have just gone to a 7-1 blowout got everybody's juices flowing again. It was cold out that last night, so that probably got them all stirred up again. And then we have what you have, where there's the massive comeback.
And then the Bruins do what they've done all year. They are the team that has taken the most penalties in the NHL, and they started to pile up. All legit penalties. I mean, I heard some Boston fans today going, gee, they could have swallowed the whistle a little bit. First period, they didn't swallow the whistle. I think Boston had 3 or 4 power plays, and the Lightning didn't have one, and nobody was saying anything at that time. But there were some things in the way the circumstances were, John. They had a 2-man advantage for 3 minutes plus because, they had the 2-man advantage, and then the Bruins player in the crease closed his hand on the puck. So that, even though the Lightning scored, that kept a 2-man advantage, and the Lightning ended up scoring twice, and it's 5-4, and it's a completely different game.
No doubt about it. And you can see it's starting to shift. The Bruins played on their heels after that. And then the Lightning just got crisp. I mean, that's what the only way I can call it. Their passing got crisper. Their skating got crisper. Everything seemed to get, and when they play that style of, listen, when they play that their style where they get a little bit maybe overly passing the puck around, but it works. It's unstoppable. It's just unstoppable. Yes. Not to mention this year that they are a much tougher team than they've been the last couple of years.
Yes,
they're not pushovers and skaters that kind of make plays. They can get dirty with you when they need to. So that fight sparked something, and it got them really revved up to go forward with that comeback.
And then Kucherov, the first star of the month for the month of January, 31 points in the month, scored with about a little less than 9 minutes to go to tie the game. And there were a couple chances for both teams, but the Lightning had the better of the chances in the third period. We got into overtime, a little bit of controversy in overtime. It looked like Pastrnak had scored to win the game. Problem was he had tripped somebody before that. The hand was up, but the crowd was so loud, I guess they didn't hear the official. And so,
Right.
the penalty was called. The Bruins didn't like it, but it was legitimately a penalty. Even Sean McDonough, who was on the call for ESPN's, like, when they see the film, they'll clearly see that he he tripped the guy. Great job by the Bruins to kill that penalty. Got it to the shootout. Kucherov had a breakaway late in the game, and everybody thought, "Oh my God, this is the moment. Kucherov's going to win the game in the last 2 minutes." Storybook ending. Let's write it. And Swayman made one hell of a save and kept the game at 5s. And then he stopped him again in the shootout.
Yeah, I was going to say the shootout. It wasn't a 3-2, a shootout. It was 1-0, and that was it.
And it was Gensel who scored the shootout goal. Perfect shot, right over Swayman's left shoulder. I guess they'll have a couple of weeks to talk about that because they're teammates on Team USA for the Olympics, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then Pastrnak, Pastrnak undressed Vasilevsky on his shot. Problem is he hit the post, didn't go in, and the Lightning were able to get the 6-5 win. Just a tremendous night all around. Tremendous night for the city of Tampa. They take a lot of slings and arrows from folks up north, but they put on a first-class show. There's a reason why there's been 4 Frozen Fours, which is the hockey Final Four in Division I in Tampa, over the last decade or so. I mean, it's a great hockey town. It's a great destination, and everything just worked out great for Tampa and for the Lightning, and they continue hot. 17-1-1 in their last 19, John. And John's apparently frozen. So I think we'll get rid of him for a second and try to bring him back to the broadcast. But tremendous win by the Bolts. Got a bunch of boxes in my room now, as you can see. Hopefully John will get back on with us and we'll get back going here. Anyway, the Lightning have 2 more games before the Olympic break. They play Tuesday night against Buffalo, a team that's been white hot, the Sabres. And the Sabres are going to need the points as they have fallen off 6 points, I think, out of the wild card. So these are big 2 points for them. And then we wrap it up with the Florida Panthers right before the break. And those games have been nothing short of just physical, at times really ugly. Both teams have won on the other's home ice this year. This game's in Tampa. And the winner of this game is going to go into the Olympic break feeling great. And the loser of this game, well, they're going to have to sit on that for about 3 weeks because the Lightning, after that game on the 5th, their next game's on the 25th. But, of course, a lot of the team is heading to the Olympics. And so hopefully we will, get to see them. And the Olympic tournament, I believe, starts on the 11th. And, again, the Canadian team, which is going to be coached by John Cooper, and Team USA, both considered favorites. Would not be one bit surprised if they played in the final over in Italy. And, wanted to talk a little bit about the Olympics and see if I can send another invite to John so that maybe he comes back with us here. And as we continue on with the 941 Sports Zone. Lightning, by the way, with the win now have 74 points. They are 4 points clear of Detroit. And the big thing about that is they still have 3 games in hand, meaning they've played 3 less games. So win all those, and then they're 10 points clear, and that would make a big thing. So hopefully the Lightning can continue to play well, get into the break. I know a lot of people are like, my God, their momentum's going to be lost because of that. But I think, honestly, the break's coming at a pretty good time, because I think, certainly things, they didn't play very well last night. They've kind of gotten a little bit uneven over the last 3 or 4 games. So hopefully they'll get things back on track, and hopefully we'll get our good buddy John, missing Scottsdale, longing for Scottsdale Masoni back with us. Just sent him another invite. Again, you're watching and listening to the 941 Sports Zone. By the way, wherever you're listening to this, like it, subscribe. We could really use all the likes and subscribes we can get. And the 941 Sports Zone, presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. Again, locally owned, nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses throughout the Gulf Coast. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. Let me tell John that I sent him another link, and hopefully he'll get on with us here in just a moment. And we'll get back going. We can start talking about the Super Bowl. We're also going to talk a little golf. NBA trade deadlines coming up. Hopefully, the Cavaliers have made a couple of moves. The Knicks are still hot and heavy for Giannis. Be interesting to see if he makes it past the 3 p.m. Thursday trade deadline. I'm not so sure he gets traded. I think that happens in the offseason. So we'll have to wait and see. Trying to get John back on here. Poor guy. The stream, I think I knocked him right off. So hopefully John will be with us in a moment, and we can get him back going on the stream with us here at the 941 Sports Zone. Gotta love it when technology kind of throws you a curveball. Certainly do. Hopefully we get John back here in a second. Super Bowl 60, the two teams arrived yesterday in San Francisco. Even though the game's in Santa Clara, all of the activities in San Francisco, you talk about a disjointed situation. Everybody talked about, like when the Final Four was in St. Petersburg and everything was in Tampa, and they had a little fit about that. That was a 20-minute ride. This is a 45-minute ride from San Francisco to Santa Clara. But that's the way they do things. A lot of outlets are not even heading out until today and won't start doing their shows until tomorrow. So they're only going to do, 4 shows. Some are even only doing 3 shows out there from Radio Row. I know from being on Radio Row a couple of times, including in 2009 when the Cardinals and Steelers played here in Tampa. Radio Row is kind of exciting, but it gets to be a little bit long, especially as the week goes along into Thursday and Friday. Everybody's ready to go at that point. So we'll see how that goes in San Francisco. Big story is with the Patriots, at least as far as the game itself goes. We have Drake May, the quarterback for New England, who is missed some practice. He missed Friday's practice completely with an illness in addition to his sore shoulder. Wednesday and Thursday, he was a limited participant in practice with that shoulder injury. He looked okay Sunday. At least he sounded okay. I think the illness portion of that has run its course. Now it's just the shoulder, and hopefully he will get the opportunity to be as close to 100% as possible. It's interesting because my what's bugging me last week was all about the 2 weeks between the championship game and the Super Bowl, and I hope they change it to 1 week. But in this case, the Patriots are thankful that there are 2 weeks, because if Drake May had to play yesterday, I'm not really sure what his percentage of wellness would have been. Probably would have been somewhere in the 60 to 70% range. When somebody's limited in 2 practices and then doesn't practice on Friday, usually they're doubtful to out. So I think we're going to have to pause the stream here, as I think John's having trouble getting on. So we will come back here in a minute or two if I ever figure out how to do this, and we'll try to do this again. Stay tuned.